Hey guys, what's up? So, I wanted to talk a little bit today about the ego and what you can do, how you can get um, to a point where it doesn't run your life. If you believe that you can get rid of it, then we're going to go that route. Or if you believe you can get rid of it, how far down can you go with it? So, the first thing I want to say is I thought I had my notebook right here, but I don't. It's fine. Um, So I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my notebook. Okay, I got my notebook here. I don't know if you can see that. I might just read it to you. So, what the ego literally is like, um, it means self or I, but what it actually is what we believe about ourselves and the world based on the hierarchies we feed into. So, there so like if you're classist or racist, or if you hold the belief that people need to contribute something to the world and maybe thereby people with disabilities are less than, or you believe that people from certain countries have certain nationalities, how you view the world, or if people need to contribute, that's a very common hierarchy, that based on somebody's contribution they are more or less worthy of this, that, or the other. If you completely rid yourself of anything like that, you completely get rid of it. And this is not going to be easy. This is something that's going to take a lot of sitting with yourself, a lot of uncomfortable truths. You know, this is considered to be something that everybody has because unfortunately everybody does have it. Everybody has some sort of belief that separates them for what they believe to be the bottom man. There's no such thing as a bottom man. There's no such thing. You are exactly worthy as you were yesterday, despite having done more or less yesterday or today. It doesn't matter. You are just as worthy as the homeless man on your corner, if you believe in that, And that's what's important. Um Now, if we come back to this concept of creationism, we're not going to stay here for very long, but if creationism was a thing, he created the periodic table, right? Why would we all are created from an element on the periodic table? Everything. The wood behind me, the walls, the carpet, the ceiling, your computer, the device in your hand, the clothing on your back, the clothing on my back is all made of the same group of atoms, the same building blocks. Create this really complex world of what's essentially Legos. Why would one atom be more relevant or more important than the other atoms? That's not how this works. God doesn't favor. God doesn't prefer. God doesn't think about what's better or worse. Everything is the same in the eyes of God. I mean, of course, good deeds and bad deeds are what he is looking at. But I mean, like, in terms of value, everything has the same value. So then why would the periodic table be any different? And the same goes for the unseen energies, entities, people, life energy, the energies that fuel the stars, the anything like that. It's all equal. The only thing that creates hierarchies is the human mind and the human collective, and we create these arbitrary rules that we then follow, usually set by the people who are the best, quote unquote, so that they can have some semblance of importance, or they can oppress the worst, quote unquote, people. The best thing, if you still have issue with your ego and you're like, wow, I'm doing my absolute best to be humble, I'm doing the most that I can, drop some of your workload, get a different job, or stop placing as much value in your job as you currently are. Well, I mean, obviously I can't tell you what to do with your life because it's your life and your story, but what I'm saying is it could just be that you're feeding too hard, too powerfully into the idea that you are only worthy when you are providing or doing. So maybe what you need to do is, instead of finding your worth in that, realize that you have always been worthy, and you always will be worthy, and you always will be enough. And you may think that ego is good for you, that it's helping you in some way or another. But I see myself as having the same worth as this phone. I know this video is not old, I'm just in a hotel. I'm making this in 2022, so it might be old when you're watching it, I don't know. I don't know your story, I don't know your life. But I see myself as having the same worth as that phone. The same worth as this, this cup. This cup, okay? That had syrup in it earlier. Not because I view myself as worthless, but because I recognize that the concept of external worth is completely man-made. And that when I separated myself from that, I freed myself from this idea that I had to do or be to be worthy. And I love myself more than I ever have because of freeing this concept. And I was able to derive my worth from the knowledge that I am exactly the same and exactly as capable as everyone else. And everything that seemed before so far out of reach, I now see as just steps along a long journey. And if I want to get there, it's no different than healing. I couldn't be where I am today 6 years ago. 6 years ago, because I had to come down small steps until I got here. It's no different from me becoming rich. I would just have to take small steps until I get there, you know? Or becoming a celebrity, or becoming this, or becoming that. I don't see it as impossible. I see it as a process. There's a difference between not having an ego and not having either a personality or self-worth. You are still you, whether or not you buy into this shit. You are still you. And you are still valid. You are still out here doing what you do. So, if you're struggling to lower your ego, I hope that this helps. I hope that you guys have a good one and that you enjoy what you're doing. If you're healing, I hope that you really find enjoyment in spirituality the way that I have. So you guys take care. Have a good one.